Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 film Psycho is a psychological thriller that was a smash hit that helped pave the way for not only the entirety of horror films, but film in general, and the limits that they could go to, being able to show more explicit content on the big screen. From his mastery of the usage of different techniques to not only tell a story, but to also encapsulate the viewer in the story through the use of the techniques. We will be analysing and discussing the usage of the techniques to build suspense through foreshadowing and to show the duality of the characters in the film through the use of props, camera angles, diegetic and non-diegetic sound. The main antagonist in the film, Norman Bates, has many scenes that can be analysed showing his duality of character. With his entire personality being only 50% himself, Norman suffers from dissociative identity disorder, stated by the Cleveland Clinics as a mental health condition where you have two or more separate personalities that control your behavior at different times, by the Cleveland Clinic. The duality of Norman's character is best seen in the argument scene with his mother about having a girl come over for dinner. When the camera is looking up to the house, it's completely dark, foreshadowing the mysteriousness of the house and the mother. As Norman and his mother argue, the camera pans to the house with a low-angle shot, also showing that whatever this house contains is in a superior position to her, possibly hinting towards how Marion is not in control of her fate. The use of lighting techniques and camera angles throughout the film to hint at Norman Bates' personality is seen quite often through the use of shadows in Norman's face. One side being lit up, representing the innocent son who just wants to do right by his mother, and the dark side being his mother who wants to protect his son, even if that means for his killing for his safety against the world, showing Norman's true nature behind his charming display of character. After the murder of Marion, Norman runs down to check on her using non-diegetic string music to give the audience a sense of urgency. The use of a back camera angle shot shows Norman flinging open the door and sees her dead corpse, showing him hunched over in shock. He runs with intent, like he knows that she's dead but is still surprised when seeing her corpse. This foreshadows Norman's split personality, showing that he is surprised by the fact that she has been killed, proving it wasn't him, but cleaning up the mess and not contacting authorities, showing that he may be aware of this and it's not a new occurrence. As the camera pans around the motel room, only the diegetic sound of the water from the shower hitting the floor, the sound is broken by Norman, foreshadowing that he knew about his split personality the entire time and was purposely leading these people in, knowing that his mother would disapprove and kill them. The scene that foreshadows a lot of things that happen later has to be the lobby scene, where Marion sits down to speak with Norman. When sat down speaking, through the use of camera angles we get hints of things like a superiority complex. When sat down to speak with each other, the back and forth at first seems very normal. At face value, it's just a shy and nice mother's boy with a city lady having a small chat, but throughout the conversation we see a lot of lower and higher angles, mainly used to symbolise that their character is in a higher or lower position than the other. And the entire time Marion is unaware that she is trapped and completely in Norman's hands. The beginning of the scene has them both at a mid-body shot while they talk, but it seems as soon as Marion questions Norman's mother's actions, it cuts to a low-angle shot looking up at Norman as he takes offence to her questioning his mother's actions, showcasing to the audience that Norman is offended and doesn't like the direction of the conversation. This scene uses motifs showing a pattern of taxidermied bird statues, Norman's obsession with the taxidermy hinting at the whereabouts of his mother's remains. Whenever the focus is on Norman, we are looking up at him, and just as importantly his birds, mainly higher on the food chain birds like hawks, owls and crows. While the focus is on Marion, she's looked down upon, seen as weak and small, subtly foreshadowing that she is not in a position of power. Norman says he likes to stuff things like taxidermy, showing his interest in taxidermy, preserving the dead, being something he likes to show a lot of interest in. also foreshadowing his mother's preserved body in the house, but a lot more of a subtle hint that is more noticeable on a rewatch. Whenever describing his mother, you can see his demeanour change, always talking about how righteous she is and can do no harm, seeming like he can't talk bad about her or there will be consequences. We can see on his face, when describing her, his expression changes and he looks more vulnerable, and he knows that his mother is his vulnerability, and he doesn't like that Marion is uncovering this side of him. In conclusion, the film Psycho uses many different film techniques to not only better tell a story, but to add depth and more meaning to each scene, adding a whole new layer of storytelling, revolutionizing the film industry and leaving a big mark on storytelling through film as a whole.